Hey, what's up? This is Brio, and you're listening to KCSCRadio.com.
I'm DJ Klezmer from KCSC Radio, special guest Brio. With us we have Ben, Andrew, and Ziek. Pleasure to have you here. Thank you for taking the time to be here. We were talking earlier about how you guys just came into town, so this has all been continuous on the road, very much so the lifestyle of the musician, right? Always on the road, gig to gig. But it's a good sign. That's how you know you're doing something right and you're consistently doing stuff. I know there are a lot of things you could probably find out if you go online and ask people. Like, they could always just say, oh, go online. But I always like to just ask people from their perspectives, like the inception of it. How did it all start for you guys? How everyone came together?
How it all came together. So we kind of all met in various ways in the city. Ben and I met on a recording session, and Ziek knew our former keyboard player.
Okay.
And he introduced us. We all kind of just met in different ways, kind of playing throughout the city and stuff. Yeah, kind of like how musicians usually meet, just like on gigs or whatever.
Yeah, the music community. I mean, the Bay Area is very close, and the music community is even closer. So we seen each other in passing, playing different jam sessions. And,
yeah.
You're only ever like 1 degree of separation away from anybody else.
Yeah,
it's true.
Was it the Kevin Bacon theory or something like that?
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't go so far as to say that it's incestuous, but it's incestuous.
Understandable. What would you say it's been like really coming up in the Bay Area musically? I feel like each different city kind of has its own unique quirks about it, so I just wanted to kind of pick your brain about that and ask what it's been like, really being immersed fully in that music scene in the Bay Area. It's very unique compared to other music scenes, so just kind of how it's maybe influenced you and some of the people you've met along the way.
Really, I think the community, the sense of community within artistry in the Bay Area, it's I haven't really experienced. I mean, I moved to the Bay Area when I was 18, so I hadn't experienced that prior. And that's something that is, I think, essential in the development of artists and our voice. Just the community of people, and like also just trying out new ideas. Like so many different projects we've played within in the Bay Area, like from cover bands to just like avant-garde, like at I don't know, jazz bands, just different kind of thing in the Bay Area that has influenced us to just have, I guess, a certain perspective that there are no limits, And we also have the historical reference in the Bay Area of a lot of, specifically during the psychedelic, like 70s funk era, where there was definitely no limits at that time. And some of those similar things that inspire us and propel us.
Nice. It's always really inspiring to be able to go online, like, everything's like the online era now, but if you were to go on Google or anything and look up, who are the top bands for soul or for funk or anything related to that area, you guys always pop up in the top 10. So it's always, I imagine that's got to feel nice to know that within that area you're really like making huge waves. Everyone notices you. I mean, I could even walk around town in Chico, which is a little bit farther away, and people know exactly who you are and have nothing but good things to say. So that's always like, props to you. That's really impressive. Here's an interesting question because technology and such has progressed so much. What do you feel, what are your thoughts on kind of more organic, natural, analog versus digital when it comes to music? Because a lot of people, you're either one way or the other. So when it comes to your sounds personally on your own instrument, how do you feel about the instrumentation of everything?
I think that's just according to what the sound that you're trying to create. Yeah, some things analog based. I know musicians or artists, like for example, Monophonics, the Bay Area band, did a lot of analog for their recordings to create their like classic sound from that era. It all depends on what you're going
Records
for. Daptone, we've used digital.
I mean, we all own, certain. It's all analog. I'm banging on a thing that's plugged into a thing that's plugged. It's like it's analog. It's all analog. I mean, he's hitting drums that make a sound picked up by a microphone that goes in. So it's like just because it gets trapped onto this digital device on this hard drive as opposed to going to tape, I think that's not like a huge world of difference. I think using a tape machine as a production tool is more important than what's happening sonically. But as far as consumers go, as far as that perspective goes, I mean, we've come a really long way, just like since I've been alive. And I grew up like buying a physical copy of everything and having something to touch, and there was liner notes and all that. And I think, you know, there's this generation that's coming up now that's never purchased something that they can touch. They grew up just with streaming music or downloading music. And what's happening now is like, I had a friend that was working for a company that made vinyl. And I was like, what's going on? Like, who's buying this stuff? How much? What are sales like? What's going on? He's like, most of the people that are buying vinyl are people that are buying music for the first time.
Right.
You know, the majority of their music collection they're getting for free, or they're streaming stuff. But their real collection at home, the stuff that they actually go out and buy physical copies of, like, it's vinyl, because it's the authentic experience. You get to touch it. You know?
We used to have. I had
Put that needle on it.
I had a very big CD collection, but the CDs are just like they break. They're just
There's like
hard,
giant
yeah.
books of
They turn into
CDs.
Yeah, we just have
yeah, totally.
CDs right here. CDs were a thing, and I bought CDs. You know, I bought like Kendrick.
I bought
like,
so many CDs.
I bought Kendrick Lamar's CD. Like I purchased music, but it's just like vinyl. Just wait. If you're gonna have like a physical copy of something, for me, like the artwork and everything, it's just when you open it, the artwork is way bigger than as opposed to a small CD. It's just way
nice.
doper to have.
And if you have a vinyl collection in your home and a turntable, and you've gone through all of the effort to set that up, that becomes part of the personality of your home. Too. You know?
I don't know if that answers your question because we're just analog.
We're just like,
You know,
Answers our question. Yeah.
I missed my turntable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel like there's any right or wrong answers.
Oh, nice. This is
So, yeah, no. I guess maybe another big question would be, how would you say things have continued to progress as you've done more shows on the road? Like, would you say of all your experiences, what would be like your most memorable and like building moments since you've been touring and doing all these things? I saw you guys went to Europe, you went to Japan, so you're going all these different places. I'm sure you encounter different people and environments, and every show's different. So,
definitely.
what are a few of the big takeaways you've had?
It's a wide spectrum, I guess, in terms of those kind of experiences, because you have them whenever you're in Europe and Japan and all these places where, you know, you're experiencing this culture or they're experiencing your sound for the first time, and it's amazing. And then you have moments like we had like last night where it was very humbling. It's like we've been playing these songs and like this music and delivering our show for a while. We want to evolve and grow within it, but it's also like still digging in the moment and really soaking up whenever you don't really feel like that. Oh, we're in Japan now. It's like all exciting and thousands of people are here. Like we're playing a show in Reno last night. It was like those are very memorable moments. I haven't even told him that, but like moments like that was like, yo, you still got to dig deep and deliver. You know, we've been playing this and we want to grow, and it's not happening right now, but we're here right now. Let's deliver.
Right.
And so those are very memorable as well. Just
Yeah.
a good balance of
Yeah,
both.
you figure out a lot about it's weird. The memorable moments can be taken in two ways. Like one is like, oh, when you go to this place and you play some show and this happens or whatever. But I feel like a lot of times what sticks with us, since we're doing it night after night, is like kind of what he's saying is like you learn a lot. It sounds corny, but you learn a lot about yourself and also about how you work as a unit.
Yeah.
And as you do it more and more, new hurdles arise.
Yeah.
So at first it's like you have to write songs to get people into it.
Yeah.
Then it's like you got to be able to get up there and perform them and like not get nervous and like have a good time and all that stuff. Then it becomes we play so much that it's sort of like you need to start to learn like what you're saying, like you need to start to learn how to. It can become tedious almost because you're playing so much, and not like in a negative way. It's a beautiful, amazing thing to do to be able to play music, but like that constant doing it night after night after night, and you have to find new ways to get into it and to find ways to express it and stuff.
And present and
For
like
sure.
in the moment. You know what you're about to do. They don't always know what you're about to do, but you know every night. It's just like keeping that fresh, keeping that genuine, and also like in the moment. Other than when you're taking an amazing solo like this guy right here, can for us, it's I guess it depends on where you are in in the system.
But
But like other
everyone's
women's
like, I've
songs,
heard this before.
keeping it fresh. That's it's an interesting task, and it's new. I'm only talking about it because we were just talking about this last night.
We were, yeah.
So it's fun. We're growing.
Yeah.
That's good though, and you can always see the progress. So you're doing
Exactly.
something right.
Exactly.
Yeah, you gotta always be moving forward.
Yeah.
For sure. You can't become complacent. It's
Yeah.
pretty easy to become complacent because it's like Groundhog's Day.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just every
It
day's
works.
the same.
That's why we're here. It works.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
Yeah.
listen, working in another way today.
Yeah.
Nice. And what would you say, trying to make, not to say that it's been serious up till now, but maybe to continue to perpetuate kind of like the lighter questions?
Yeah.
Would you say, what are maybe some of the wilder moments? Like if you had one memory of like the wildest moment you've had on tour, what would that be? If you're willing to share. Some things you want to keep to yourself, but
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I don't know. That's a tough question.
Tour itself is just wow.
I'm trying to think
Yeah,
of like.
it's kind of perpetually wild.
Yeah, it's from start to finish. It's just wow.
Yeah, I mean, but the first like concert we played was in the Netherlands, and so we land in the Netherlands. We'd never been there before. They get us in a car and they take us to a ferry. We get on the ferry. We ride the ferry to an island. We get off at this like little island that's just beautiful, and they like don't let cars on it, so everyone's like riding bikes and is like polite and like beautiful because it's the Netherlands, so they're all 6'8" and like gorgeous and stuff. And we get out there and we like go, and we got a really good slot. We were playing like the sun gone down, like feels like a rock show, and we walk out on stage and there's just like thousands of people out there, and they're stoked for us to start. Like they're just waiting for it. And I remember that was like this moment where it was like, wow, like this is really happening. And
That was our first European.
that was our first show, first European tour. And yeah, I mean, like we were playing this one song, and like I got like choked up while we were playing it because I was just like, this is like insane what's going on right now, you know, just looking around. It's like physically beautiful and then like emotionally beautiful or whatever. It was just like a very cool experience. So that was pretty wild. It's not like, you know, like hookers and blow wild, but it was like wild in a way that is like wild to me. Where it's like, this is wild. Like what a world this is.
regarding like the sound of the music, that's something that like a lot of people have loads of great feedback about. Everyone I've run into, they really just love the natural sound to it. Very just like real and present, and I feel like for a lot of people it just takes them back. A lot of people make comparisons and we'll say like James Brown and a lot of these huge legendary people. Where does everyone find their influence musically, like individually and as a collective? You know, it doesn't necessarily, I feel like sometimes maybe as a guitarist or whatever instrument you play, you have your different personal influences, then together as a whole it's like, all right, this is what we strive to be like. So how did you craft your sound to get to that point?
I mean, our personal influences are different. It's like what are you like?
Everybody's got their own personal influences for, you know, whatever aspect. But I think, you know, the main influence is like when we get together. I play differently when I'm playing with Andrew than if I'm playing with a different drummer in a different scenario. So I think when we come together, what you end up hearing is the way that we influence each other. You know, like I think the music that we make together, which this might seem totally obvious, is very different than it would be if we were to do it just any one of us individually, try to make a record, you know. So I think my biggest influences when it comes to working in this project is the people that I'm working with. You know, there's the stuff I grew up on, but I mean, a lot of the people that I would say were highly influential, you wouldn't necessarily hear that on our record.
Right? Yeah.
You
Like.
know? So.
Yeah, I think that's.
It just comes from different places. Like as I'm listening to our record right now, that little skit, it's called "You Think This Is a Game." It started off in Europe, and it was just it had this essence to it that I really like. And he has this character, he could do like gangster voices really well, and I was like, yo, we should do that. But it evolved over time, and into like a year, almost months later, I started watching Denzel like movies, just different Denzel movies, and I like love the way that he speaks. Love the way that his tone, like the way that he, I don't know, just this essence of his voice. It feels very direct, and I'm very captivated by the way he speaks. And I was wanting to embody that essence in that spoken word piece. So it's like the inspiration, man. It's hard to say. Like, I know some people would say, "Oh, you get compared to like James Brown," and you would like expect us to say, "Oh, we love Prince," or like Michael Jackson,
which
or
we do.
Queen, which we do,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
Like, the inspiration comes from so many places, like non-musical things as well.
Yeah.
Our chemistry together is like we vibe together. When it's not harmonious, we know it, and when it is, it's just like this unexplainable thing for us chemistry wise. It's like this is what this is what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. And we push each other for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's one of the few bands where I feel like that I've played in where we will have like really sort of like butting head moments when we're like making stuff, but when we come out on the other end, it's like stronger, you know, sort of like that forged in fire kind of thing, you know. It's like rather than everything just always being copacetic and people being like, yeah, sure, whatever, do whatever, and like then sometimes you get like this almost, sometimes it can almost be like this is gonna sound weird, but there can almost be like too much compromise. And the fact that we do have that push and pull, you know, that influences a lot of what ends up happening, because we're really all pushing a lot of times for it to be like the best that it can be or anything like that. So yeah.
I think it's interesting, I mean, in your situation where you continue to build and more people are getting behind you around the world, it puts you in a position where you have like a really big voice in the world, and music itself is such an expression of so many different ideas. What would you say when it comes to like the ideas and lyrics? What is always the big thing that you want to try to push towards audiences? You know, like I feel like lyrics subliminally or up front could really speak to people. What are usually the things that you want your audience to know that maybe they don't know you're trying to tell them, or sometimes they do? But what are like your main focuses lyrically or inspiration?
I'd say lyrically, approach to writing was not even from the perspective of what I want people to know. It is more so expressing something that's very real, that's real for me, or like just ideas and concepts that sometimes I'm processing my understanding with these things through my lyrics. So it comes across as like I'm speaking at people, but sometimes I'm speaking to myself, and just like almost like it's an essay or something, like a paper, and try to treat the lyrics like that. Music is a separate thing, and it's all honestly like a movie how I see it, but lyrically I approach it like an essay. Like this is a concept and this is an idea that I have my own ideas around, and that they are mine. Some people may not share them, so I don't try to have the approach like, oh, this is what I want people to know. It's like people may not care about that. I have to speak from a genuine place for me first, and the rest, you know, leave it for the people to decide.
Nice. What would you say people can expect as things continue to progress, future albums? Are there any hints we can get to what to expect musically, or if it's confidential, that's fine as well.
What to expect?
No, we're working on new music now.
Yeah.
We've got some like collaboration stuff that's in the works, working with different artists, and yeah, we're starting to write new stuff for the next album and to put in the show and stuff like that. So
Yeah, expect some fresh singles to be popping kind of out of nowhere. Yeah, some collaborations and stuff like that.
There we go.
We have Patrick, our keyboard player that's been with us since January, February, I guess. He played on Paradise, the latest record, but he wasn't really involved in writing any of that music. So moving forward, as we're writing new stuff, he's not so different than who he replaced, but he is at the same time, you know. Like, he's a different player, has a different sensibility, totally different personality. So as we're, you know, going to be writing more music and thinking about recording new stuff, he's going to be bringing a whole new flavor to things. So
yeah,
we'll wait and see. I don't know what that's going to sound like either.
yeah.
You'll have to tell me when you're here.
Yeah,
we don't even have expectations ourselves yet.
Yeah. Very nice. I know recently you guys did something with Red Bull, is that right?
Red Bull released. They premiered the Money video, the music video for the song Money.
Nice.
Yeah.
How was that? Can I ask that? I don't know if I can ask.
You can
Sometimes
definitely
I don't
ask
know.
that.
I don't want to say anything.
No, you can ask
Someone
that.
you guys look to, you're like, ooh, it said that he can ask these questions. I don't want to be that guy.
No.
It's a cool video that we're proud of. I think it looks great, and Red Bull was cool to premiere that. They've taken care of us this summer. They do a lot of work with festivals, so they've streamed a few. I think Bonnaroo and
Yeah, Lollapalooza.
a couple things. They did like a live stream on their website of our set.
Nice.
So we're on board with them. They're on board with us.
All right, now here's a question that I feel like is always interesting to ask artists. If you had the opportunity to do a show with any 2 artists, 3 artists, they could be deceased currently and somehow they're magically there, anyone in the world, who would be those 3 artists that you want to perform and share the stage with?
Well, Erykah Badu, for me. I have like a love for Erykah Badu, so deep. So, she'd definitely be, she just is like immediate. Like whenever anyone asks me like, what artist blank, I'm just like, Erykah Badu. So someone gave me one of her CDs when I was like 14 or something, and it was just like, changed things in my brain pretty drastically. So I would just do her, that's fine. I don't need another. That's a solid bill. Call Brio, Erykah Badu, that's going to sell some tickets. What?
She wrote a song about it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why.
She wrote a song. Yeah, exactly.
That's before Rim Shot.
Yeah, we're gonna move. Yeah, but we don't even need a third.
Rim Shot to Infinity.
Yeah.
Me, Fela Kuti, Sade.
There we go.
I would see that show. Call Brio, Fela Kuti, Sade. I would definitely see that show.
Yeah.
Is there a story behind it, or is it just personal preference?
No story. Just love them both very much. Yeah.
They're just badass. Yeah.
Ben?
Oh man, I'm sweating it, dude. I'm thinking. You know what I think would be cool would have been to be a fly on the wall for some backstage banter. The Highwaymen.
Nice.
There we go.
Johnny Cash and Willie Nelson. And
Yeah.
Like just how much like
The
ridiculous,
Highwaymen.
Yeah.
just trash talking.
Yeah.
Like making
Yeah.
fun of each other. I think that would be amazing. You said living or dead. Like,
Yeah.
Johnny Cash, and I was like, wait,
Yeah.
that would be awesome.
That'd be good.
He was a character, so you can only imagine half the stuff you hear, right?
Oh yeah.
What would you say are maybe some, I don't say underrated, but who are some artists that you feel like are really influential right now that you feel like maybe a lot of people don't know about?
We haven't done any shows with him, but there's a saxophone player, Terrace Martin, who is like a LA like session guy, and he does a lot of work with like a lot of artists for like many years, and is like really shapes a lot of the sounds that has like been coming out of LA, like that scene.
Kendrick album?
Yeah, he was all over the Kendrick Lamar album. He came out with his own album recently. I'm pretty sure he did stuff with Snoop. That might not. I don't know. You should fact check me on that. I don't know if that's true, but he's done. He does a lot of stuff. But I only think he's kind of underrated because I learned about him through the Kendrick record, which I'm sure a lot of people. That's how they learned about him too. But then I started like kind of going back through his like, discography and stuff he's worked on, and he's just all over the place. But I think a lot of guys like that, like who do a lot of session stuff, it's like they make a lot of the songs we all love, and then people don't really like know who they are. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
So
This dude named Adrian Young. He did the music for I think that film Black Dynamite.
Okay.
Got the opportunity to open up for him at the Boom Boom Room a couple of years ago, and I can't remember. He's been on so many famous artist albums since then. He's a great producer. Yeah, I love to. Yeah, he's also great.
yeah. I was gonna say Anderson .Paak, but I don't think he's underrated anymore.
Yeah.
I feel like he's kind of just crushing it now.
Yeah, and even these
there was like
people,
a moment where like he was like sort of, I feel like not, he was sort of under, and then it was just like explosion of he's everywhere. So I don't know if we can really say that.
It's hard to really say. Yeah, who's doing the rating of these underrated?
Yeah.
I gotta ask Zeke, this is a personal question, because everyone always talks about the dance moves. Like, that is It is a huge point of conversation with everyone I've spoken with whenever I say, oh, Brio's coming up, are you excited? Like, yeah, of course, have you seen the guy's moves? He can do all this stuff. Question, is there any background with dance, or how did that all get started? How did some of the moves start to come around, or been there just always known how to dance?
It was just, yeah, dancing was always something that was a passion for me. I started off in like different social settings where you see other people dancing and then you're inspired by it. And then I was a kid who went back to my room and danced in the mirror or like listen to music and like set up a camera and like work on stuff just to see how it looked. Growing up, I didn't take any dance. It was just all passion. I didn't study dance, like study it until I was like maybe like 19. I studied ballet for a little bit, for a couple months because my friend was a teacher. And other than that, most of my learning has been watching other people and going to whatever dance studio or whatever mirror that I can dance in front of and doing that or recreating it and just exploring in different ways.
Yes. What would you guys say if you have any word of advice for maybe musicians, young or old? What advice would you give them being in your position now and having gone through everything? What would you say is like your number one piece of advice for people who want to be just like you?
Don't want to be like anybody.
Don't want to be, I was just say that, be yourself and know that that is limitless. Be yourself and know that that is limitless.
I mean, maybe a final question that I know I have to ask is if there's one producer that you would want to have a conversation with just about music and you have the opportunity, who is it? That's like a little different, producer versus versus artist.
One producer.
Just to have a conversation with?
Yeah.
Just to hang out with?
It's
Quincy
pretty
Jones.
Yeah, it'd be Quincy for sure.
That's a good one.
Quincy Jones for sure.
I mean, a lot of people say it's not as relevant or what. I don't even know what he's working on these days. Just like
He's
not
alive.
relevant anymore. Whatever.
That's all that
That's
matters.
all that matters.
But it's
He's
like
alive.
just as far as like talking about, like
He's seen so much.
so much experience.
I read some of his biography. It was amazing just to hear like in his band like when he was very, very young, they would get charged or they couldn't play if they didn't come fly. Like
like
if they
looking
were
good?
looking good on the bandstand. Either
Really?
they didn't get paid or
I
they
heard
couldn't
it.
play. But if they showed up and they weren't fly, there was a penalty for it. It was like even when he was young to like his writing days playing with other musicians and his relationship with Ray. It's just like he has so much from working with Frank Sinatra to like so many people he's worked with and traveled the world and it's like really digested so much of music. I'm so glad he's still alive. I would love to interview him. That's like my wish.
I'll ask you, I guess this is the real final question. Are there any questions that you want to address the audience? Because we have this opportunity to break the fourth wall and say like, hey, there's a camera here. And you can ask your audience like if they have any questions or you can address their questions so that when people see this.
Oh, like when you post it, you mean?
Yeah. If not, that's fine too.
Yeah, I don't want to know these. I'm just joking. No, I'm just joking.
One question: when are you gonna buy this album, Paradise? That's one question I have for you. When are you going to?
There we go.
How can we sell you stuff?
Are you having a good day?
Are you?
Do you feel
Best taqueria in Chico.
best taqueria in Chico?
Right.
For real, that's a good one.
Important.
Do you feel liberated in your life?
What do you want for Christmas?
I love it.
How would you describe your last interaction with a stranger?
Well, hopefully we're going to get some good responses in the comments. It's been a pleasure. Once again, this is KCSERadio.com. I'm DJ Klez. With me, we have Ben, Andrew, and Ziek from Brio. Thank you once again. It's been an awesome time. Pleasure to have you here.